Class today will discuss bank reconciliation. Technically, this topic is still part of cash and cash equivalents. And to understand bank recon, let's have an illustration. For example, we are ABC company. When you say book, it means ito yung accounting records of ABC, such as journals and ledgers. When you say bank, ito naman yung records of the bank of ABC. For example, class, BPI. Now, let's take a look at the basic journal entries. On January 1, we sold goods to the customers. Entry natin upon sale is debit accounts receivable, credit sales. Let's say this is 20,000. Yan. On January 5, na-collect natin yung accounts receivable. Entry upon collection is debit cash on hand, credit accounts receivable, 20,000. Well, let's say, on January 6, the next day, dineposit natin yung 20,000 kay BPI. Entry upon deposit is debit cash in bank, credit cash on hand, 20,000. Take note, class, pag nag-deposit tayo sa bank, nire-reclassify natin yung cash on hand to cash in bank. Okay? Now, si BPI, naka-receive siya ng cash, ng deposit. Entry, the books of BPI is debit cash, credit, deposit, liability, ABC, 20,000. Take note here, class, na whenever si bank, in our illustration si BPI, whenever naka-receive sila ng deposit, nagre-record sila ng liability. So technically, may utang sa atin, sa mga depositors, yung mga bangko. Alright? Debit cash, credit, deposit, liability. Now, if you remember sa accounting, alam natin, class, whenever we debit an asset account, in this case, cash. Whenever we debit cash, it means increasing cash yan. Tama? Whenever we credit cash, it means it's a decreasing cash. Alright? Now, yun yung alam natin sa accounting. Tama? Sa books naman ni bank, opposite naman yan. Pag sinabing credit ka ni bank, it means it's increase. Parang kanina dito, credit niya sa ABC, in-increase niya yung bank account ni ABC. Okay? Pag dinebit ka naman ni bank, it means it's a decrease in your bank account. Okay? Opposite sila. That's important yan. So always remember that. Book debits, increase. Book credits, decrease. Bank credits, increase. And bank debits, decrease. Alright? Now, on January 10, we purchased goods from our suppliers. Entry, debit purchases, credit, accounts payable, let's say 10,000. And then on January 15, binayaran natin si supplier. Let's say nag-issue tayo ng check. Okay? Entry natin dyan, class, debit accounts payable, credit cash in bank, 10,000. So, ganito nangyari dyan. Tayo sa ABC, nag-issue tayo ng check kay supplier. Okay? BPI check. Ang gagawin ng supplier, i-encash niya yung check kay BPI. Ngayon, pag na-encash niya ni supplier yung check kay BPI, entry in the books of BPI is debit, deposit liability, ABC, credit, cash, 10,000. So kanina sabi ko, pag credit ka ni bank, increase yan. Tama? Pag dinebit ka ni bank, decrease naman yan. Kaya credit cash na 10,000. Dini-decrease ni bank ng 10,000 yung bank account mo. Gets? Okay, now, on January 31, end of the month, syempre, we have to compute for our ending balance of our cash in bank. So tingnan natin, class. Compute natin yung ending balance of our cash in bank. Dito muna tayo sa books. Okay? Saan ba yung cash in bank dyan? Ito. Cash in bank, saan pa? This one. Ayan. So debit na 20,000, credit na 10,000, 20 minus 10, our ending balance of cash in bank is 10,000. Doon naman tayo sa records ni bank. Meron cash na 20, and then nag-credit ng 10,000 na cash, 20 minus 10. Ending balance of the cash in bank is 10,000. Okay, balance siya. Cash balance per books, 10,000. Cash balance per bank, 10,000. So pag ganyan, walang problema kasi balance. Kaya lang, in most cases, the cash balance per books is not equal to the cash balance per bank. That's why we have to prepare what we call the bank reconciliation every end of the month. Okay, bank reconciliation. Sir, ano yung purpose of bank reconciliation? The purpose is to reconcile. Kaya siya tinawag na reconciliation. The cash balance per books and the cash balance per bank. Kaya sila hindi equal in most cases because of timing differences. Okay, sulat ko dito. Timing differences, which we will discuss in a while. Sir, paano namin i-apply yung bank reconciliation? Mag-stick lang tayo sa format ng bank recon. Basta alam na alam niyo yan, yung format. Kaya-kaya yung sagutan yung mga questions yan about bank recon. Okay, so let's analyze, class, yung bank reconciliation format. May dalawang parts yan. Dito muna tayo sa book and then bank. Again, pag sinabi mong book, yun yung accounting records natin. Ito siya. Right? Yan. Pag sinabi mong bank, records naman ni bank yan. And take note, class, si bank, nagpo-provide siya na tinatawag natin na bank statement. Usually, mga nagpo-provide si bank ng bank statement, usually mga a week after end of the month. So, end of the month natin is January 31. Let's say mga Feb 5. Ayan. Let's assume Feb 5 natin na-receive yung bank statement. Sir, ano yung nasa bank statement? Basically, yun yung summary ng lahat ng transactions natin kay BPI. Okay? Now, balik tayo dito class sa format. When you say cash balance per book, ito yung unadjusted balance. Sa illustration natin earlier, yun yung 10,000 ito. Okay, yun yung balance per book. Plus CM, CM stands for credit memorandums or credit memos, minus DM, it stands for debit memos or debit memorandums, plus minus errors, you get the adjusted balance. Okay? Now, sir, ano ba ibig sabihin ng credit memos and debit memos? May mga examples tayo yan. But basically, class, yung credit memos na yan and debit memos, nakikita natin yan sa bank statement. Okay? Kaya as of January 31, hindi pa natin alam yan. Kailan natin malalaman yan? Sa Feb 5 pa, pag na-receive natin yung bank statement. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na timing differences. Yun yung reason kung bakit hindi balance yung cash balance per books and cash balance per bank. I-reconcile natin sila. Gets? Okay, now, let's have some examples of credit memos. Meron tayong 4 examples. No? First is collection made by bank. Okay? Sir, ano ibig sabihin ng collection made by bank? For example, class, meron tayong customer. Now, magbabayad sa atin si customer. Kanina, ang inassume natin, entry natin, debit cash on hand, credit AR. Physically, binayaran tayo ni customer. Dito, for example, class, si customer, instead na magbayad sa atin, dumiretso sa bank account natin. Doon siya nag-deposit ng check. Okay? So, ang ginawa ni customer, binayaran niya tayo, pero diniretso niya sa bank account natin, kay BPI. Alright? I-issue na ng check as payment, pero diniretso niya kay BPI. Ang tawag natin dyan, collection made by bank. So, ano nga, class, si BPI, meron na siyang entry. Nag-debit cash na yan, credit deposit liability. In-increase na ni BPI yan. Pero since malalaman natin yung credit memo, pag na-receive natin yung bank statement, hindi pa natin nire-record yan. Okay? Since in-increase ni BPI yung bank account natin, kaya yung collection made by bank, plus yan. Okay? Lahat ng credit memos, plus yan. Gets? Okay, next. Interest income. If you remember, class, sa previous discussion natin, previous session natin, pag nag-open tayo ng bank account, savings, demand deposit, time deposit, interest bearing yan. Nag-earn ng interest yan. Okay? Now, kailangan natin malaman kung how much yung earn natin ng interest pag na-receive na yung bank statement sa Feb 5. Alright? So, si bank, in-increase na niya yung bank account natin, pero hindi pa natin nare-record yun. Kaya kailangan, i-plus natin yan. Gets? Okay, next. Another example is proceeds from loan. Let's say, nag-loan tayo kay BPI, 1 million, in-approve ni BPI. Ang ginawa ni BPI, yung 1 million, transfer niya dun sa bank account natin. So, nag-increase na yung bank account natin, pero hindi pa natin alam kasi nga, sa bank statement natin malalaman yun. Kaya, i-add natin yung proceeds from loan. Okay? And then last one for credit memo, another example is matured time deposits. Okay, matured time deposits. Let's say, meron tayong time deposit for 90 days. Nag-mature na siya. Ita-transfer ni BPI yung time deposit sa savings deposit natin. So, mag-i-increase yung savings deposit natin. Kailangan natin malaman yun sa bank statement. Sa Feb 5 ba yun? Kaya, i-increase natin yan, pa-plus natin. Okay? Lahat ng credit memos, since ni-record na ni bank yan as increase sa bank account natin, hindi pa natin nare-record, kaya lahat yan, ipa-plus mo yan. Okay? Punta naman tayo sa debit memos. So, ano example yan, debit memos? First example is bank service charges. Let's call it BSC, bank service charges. For example, whenever nagpa-transfer tayo online, may china-charge sa atin si BPI. Okay? Malalaman natin lahat ng charges na yun pag na-receive natin yung bank statement. Nag-minus na si BPI sa bank account natin. Kaya, bank service charges, debit memo yan, ima-minus natin yan. Okay? Another example is NSF check, or alam natin yung NSF from previous lesson. Nag-issue ng check si customer pero wala palang pondo si customer. Another term for NSF is the if. Okay? Drawn against insufficient funds. So, FYI lang, magkamukha lang ibig sabihin niya. NSF, no sufficient funds, and the if or drawn against insufficient funds, magkamukha lang yan. Kung maalala nyo, class, ang entry natin pag NSF, debit AR, credit cash. Alala nyo yan? Mina-minus natin yung, or credit natin, binabawas natin yung cash natin. Kaya yung NSF is a deduction. Okay? Next, auto debits. Auto debits. Ang maganda example ng auto debits, for example, class, pagbabayad natin ng utilities, okay? Electric and water bill natin. Pwede mong i-set up yan actually sa mobile app mo, di ba? Online banking. Pwedeng end of the month automatic, dinedebit na ni BPI yung bayad natin sa utilities, okay? Kailangan mo malaman kung how much yung dinebit ni BPI pag na-receive mo na yung bank statement. So, nabawas na ni BPI yan sa bank account mo, kailangan natin i-minus yan pag na-receive natin yung bank statement. And last one, class, is loan payments. Loan payments. Kanina, example natin, nag-loan tayo ng 1 million kay BPI. Let's say, class, every month, 20,000 yung binabayad natin sa loan. Pwedeng auto-debit din dyan. Okay? Automatic, babawasan na ni BPI na 20,000 yung bank account mo. Kailan mo malaman pag na-receive mo yung bank statement on Feb 5. Alright? So, lahat ng debit memos natin, class, minus na yan ni BPI sa bank account natin. So, that's why, lahat yan, ima-minus natin. Okay? Lahat ng credit memos, plus. Debit memos, minus. Sir, ano naman yung errors? Ito yung errors committed by the company in our illustration ni ABC. Plus minus yan kasi depende sa nature ng error. Kailangan i-analyze natin yung nature ng error to determine if plus or minus yung magiging adjustment natin. Later sa handouts, may mga errors tayo may encounter. Okay? Last one, before we answer our handouts. Doon naman tayo sa point of view ni bank. Okay? Balance per bank, sir, ano yan? Balance per bank. Basically, yan yung unadjusted balance. Makikita natin yan sa bank statement. Okay? Kung how much yung nandun sa bank statement, ito siya. Cash balance per bank. Plus DIT. DIT stands for deposit in transit. Ano sir example of deposit in transit? Okay, deposit in transit, these are deposits. Okay, these are deposits made but not yet credited. Deposits not yet credited or recorded. Okay? I'll give you an illustration. So, deposits not yet credited or recorded. Okay? Let's say tayo si ABC. Si customer muna. Si customer, nagbayad sa atin. Nag-issue siya ng check. Okay? As payment. Nag-issue ng check. Now, ang check ni customer, let's say BDO. Ayan. BDO yan. So, binayaran tayo ni customer. Take note, ang bank natin is BPI. Alright? Naka-receive tayo ng BDO check. Dineposit natin yung check na yan kay BPI. Okay? Now, nung na-receive natin yung check from customer, nag-record na tayo dyan. If you remember, class, ang record natin, upon collection, debit cash on hand, credit AR. Pag dineposit mo dyan, debit cash in bank, credit cash on hand. So, actually, cancel out lang yan. So, ang entry mo talaga, debit cash in bank, credit AR. So, balik tayo dito. Nung na-receive natin yung check from customer and dineposit natin kay bank, entry natin, debit cash in bank, credit AR. Ayan. So, in-increase na natin yung cash in bank natin. Now, nung dineposit natin yung check kay BPI, pag kasi magkaiba yung bank mo, okay? Pag magkaiba yung bank, may tinatawag tayong clearing period. Clearing period. So, ibig sabihin, si BPI, i-verify muna niya yung check. May process yan. Okay? So, nag-entry na tayo ng debit cash in bank. In-increase na natin. Si BPI, wala pa kasi may clearing period, mga 1 to 2 days. Wala pa siyang nire-record na debit cash, credit deposit liability. Okay? Kaya, class, sa bank record natin, kailangan natin i-plus yan. Lahat ng deposit in transit. Nag-deposit na tayo kay BPI, pero hindi pa niya nakikredit sa atin or hindi pa niya nare-record because, again, merong clearing period. This is an example of deposit in transit. Bakit siya plus? Nirecord na natin, okay? Ang ina-adjust natin, take note class, yung bank statement, hindi pa nare-record ni BPI. Kaya, plus lahat ng deposit in transit. And FYI, kasama rin sa deposit in transit yung undeposited collections. Alright? For the purposes of bank reconciliation, undeposited collections are treated as deposit in transit. Okay? Last one, outstanding checks. Sir, ano naman yung outstanding checks? These are checks issued but not yet encashed. Okay? So, nag-issue tayo ng check tayo sa ABC. Nagbayad tayo kay supplier. Okay? Nag-issue tayo ng check. Ngayon, si supplier, dadali niya yan kay BPI. I-encash niya yan. Tama? Nag-issue tayo ng check kay supplier. Ang entry natin class, debit accounts payable, credit cash in bank. Kanina, ito. Debit accounts payable, credit cash in bank. So it means, binawasan na natin yung cash in bank natin. Let's say class si supplier, let's say nagbayad tayo sa kanya, nag-issue tayo ng check Friday. So ang ginawa ni supplier, Monday pa siya pumunta ng bank. Okay? Therefore, wala pang entry si bank as of Friday. Alright? Nag-minus na tayo, pero wala pang nire-record si bank. Kaya kailangan mag-minus tayo ng outstanding checks. Okay? Lahat ng deposit in transit, plus yan. Lahat ng outstanding checks, minus yan. Sir, ano naman yung errors yan? Ito naman yung errors committed by the bank. In our example, BPI. Plus minus yan kasi it depends on the nature of the errors. Dapat class, yung makukuha natin na adjusted balance per book and adjusted balance per bank, equal yan. Kaya tinawag ng bank reconciliation. Reconcile dapat yan. Alright? Now, basta alam nyo class, yung format na yan, madaling lalisan nyo yung mga bank reconciliation questions. Ayan. Sige, para ma-apply natin yung concepts, let's go to our handouts. Doon muna tayo class sa illustrative example, doon sa last part of the handouts. No? So, illustrative examples, Number 1. Illustrative example number 1, nakita nyo ba class yung Pinnacle Company provided the following information. Kita nyo yan? Doon muna tayo. Pinnacle Company provided the following information. So makikita mo dyan class, meron tayong 2 tables na given. First table, cash in bank, BPI. Alright? Yung second table, deposit liability, Pinnacle Company. Okay? So tama ba class yung first table, iyan yung records ni Pinnacle. Tama? Yung second table, iyan yung records ng bank. Okay? Ni BPI. Tama? So yun yung bank statement ng second table. So yeah, so analyze natin class. And ang requirements natin, letter A is prepare bank reconciliation, letter B, prepare adjusting entries. Okay. So, ganito yung class. Titignan natin, tingin ka mo doon sa first table natin, merong deposits and merong checks. Okay? Nag-deposito tayo, and then nag-issue kayo ng check. Titignan natin kung na-reflect yan ni BPI sa record siya. Isa-isay natin yung class. So, doon muna tayo sa December 1 deposit. Nakita mo ba yung 100,000? So, tingnan natin kung na-record yan ni BPI. Okay? 100,000 December 1, punta ka doon sa bank statement. Uy, yun, na-receive ni BPI yan nung December 2. Okay yan. Lagay mo check, walang problema. December 21 deposit, 50,000. Na-receive, na-record ni BPI yan, December 27, so check, walang problema. December 27 deposit, 10,000. Ayun, na-record ni BPI yan, December 29, okay lang din, no problem. December 31 deposit, 80,000. Uy, parang wala siya sa bank statement. Ano tawag natin yung class? Deposit in transit. So, dineposit na natin, pero hindi pa naki-credit or nare-record ni BPI. So, lagay mo dyan, sulat mo sa gilid, 80,000 is a deposit in transit or DIT. Doon naman tayo sa checks issued. Check number 101, 5,000. Okay? Tingin ka dun sa bank statement, ayun, na-clear na yan kay bank noong December 20. Okay? So, lagyan mo ng check. Check number 102, 15,000. Parang walang check number 102 dun sa bank statement. Anong tawag natin dyan? Nag-issue na natin yung check, pero hindi pa na-encash. Outstanding check. So, lagyan mo dyan, outstanding checks, yung check number 102. Check number 103, 40,000. Nag-reflect naman yan sa bank statement, so okay na yan. Check number 104, 10,000. Nag-reflect yan noong December 18, so okay na rin yan. Check number 105. Uy, parang wala sa bank statement yan ah. That's an outstanding check. So, lagyan mo, outstanding check, 30,000. Check number 106, nag-reflect noong December 22. Check number 107, 50,000, wala sa bank statement. So that's also an outstanding check. Meron tayong 3 outstanding checks. Add natin yung class. 15,000 plus 30,000 plus 50,000, 95,000 yung outstanding checks natin. So deposit in transit, 80,000. Outstanding checks, 95,000. Okay, ngayon, if titingin ka sa bank statement, may ibang items din dyan. Nakita mo yung CM or credit memo, 30,000, nakita mo yan? Tingin ka dun sa middle portion of the problem. Nakalagay dyan, the credit made by bank on December 29 represents the proceeds of a note received from a customer which was given to the bank for collection. Ito siya, collection made by bank. Okay, yun yung credit memo na 30,000. Alam natin, pag credit memo, plus yan. Okay? Now, next naman is service charge na DM or debit memo, 2,000. So, pag debit memo, ima-minus naman natin yan. Okay, sir, paano yan? Paano ako prepare ng bank recon? Ganito lang yan, class. Madali lang yan. So, ganito lang gagawin natin sa requirement A, prepare bank recon. Gagamitin natin yung format natin. Dito yung book. Okay, dito yung bank. Start muna tayo sa cash balance per book. Ano ulit yung cash balance per book? Iyan yung unadjusted balance. Okay? Iyan yung nasa accounting records natin. Punta doon sa first table. Sa first table natin, class, meron tayong deposits and then meron tayong checks. Tama? So, lahat ng deposits i-add natin. So, sabay nyo mag-compute. Lahat ng deposits, 100,000. Plus 50,000, plus 10,000, plus 80,000. Na-compute nyo ba yung 240,000 total deposits? Yes. Okay. Total checks naman. Total checks 5,000, plus 15,000, plus 40,000, plus 10,000, plus 30,000, plus 25,000, plus 50,000. Did you get 175,000? Okay. So deposits, 240,000, minus checks, 175. You get 65,000. Okay? So 65,000 yun yung cash balance per book natin. Lagyan mo dito class, 65. Yun yung unadjusted balance. Ano nga ba pag per book? Plus CM minus DM. Plus CM, how much yung CM natin dito class? 30,000 plus 30,000. Minus debit memos. Debit memo natin is 2,000. Wala namang minention na errors committed by Pinnacle dito sa problem. So, we compute for the adjusted balance. So, 65,000 plus 30,000 minus 2,000, you get 93,000. 93,000 is your adjusted cash in bank per books. Alright? Now, dapat yan din yung ma-compute natin sa per bank natin. Okay, so start muna tayo with cash balance per bank. Ano ulit yung cash balance per bank? Yan yung nandun sa bank statement. Tingin ka dun sa second table, yung bank statement, tingnan mo yung ending balance. Nakita mo ba yung ending balance na 108,000? Yes, 108,000. Yan yung unadjusted balance per bank. Okay, add natin yung deposit in transit plus DIT. How much ulit yung DIT earlier? Na-compute natin 80,000. 80,000. Minus natin yung outstanding checks earlier. Na-compute natin total outstanding checks 95,000. Let's compute for the adjusted balance. Wala namang errors na minention sa problem. 108,000 plus 80,000 minus 95,000 plus 80 minus 95,000. You get here 93,000. Okay, so pag equal yan, gusto mo yung tama yung ginawa mo. 93,000. Take note, ito rin yung makikita mo sa balance sheet. Okay, yung 93,000 na yan. Iyan yung mag-a-appear na cash in bank sa balance sheet mo. Alright? Now, requirement B, prepare adjusting entries. Sir, bakit may adjusting entries? Tandaan mo, class, adjusting entries only apply to book reconciling items. Ang tawag natin dito, book reconciling items. Ito yung bank reconciling items. Pag tinanong ka ng journal entries, ito lang yung i-journalize mo. Yung nasa book lang natin. Sir, bakit ito hindi mo i-journalize? Ang reason is, ang bahalang mag-record dyan, si bank, si BPI. Siya bahala dyan. Sarili niya records yan. Huwag natin papakialaman yan. Ang concern lang tayo, yung records natin. Okay? That's why, pag mag-prepare ka ng journal entries in Bank Recon, lahat lang ng book reconciling items. Dalawa lang naman in problem 1. Okay, ito yung adjusting entries natin, class. Adjusting entry number 1, yung na-receive na note. Okay, notes receivable. Since plus yan, debit cash in bank. Credit notes receivable, 30,000. Second entry, ito yung bank service charges, 2,000. Debit bank service charge expense. Credit cash in bank, 2,000. Yan yung journal entries. Adjusting entries natin. Pag titignan mo sa T-account yan, okay, yung cash in bank, start tayo with 65. Okay, and then nag-debit tayo na 30. Nag-credit tayo na 2. So you get 93,000. Pinakita ko lang pag T-account. 93,000. Alright, so ayan, that's how you compute for, that's how you solve for problem number 1. Okay, sige, so practice pa tayo. Let's go to illustrative example number 2. Multiple choice naman tayo, class. Let's take a look at the given. Okay, CPA company provided the following information for the month of December. Narinig ko na to. Balance per bank statement, December 31. So class, ano yung pag sinabing balance per bank statement? Yun yung unadjusted balance per bank. Lagay mo dyan, unadjusted balance per bank, 2.8 million. Bank service charge for December. Pag bank service charge, ano yung class? Debit memo yan, minus yan. So lagay mo sa side, debit memo. Interest paid by bank to CPA company for December. Interest paid by bank. Si bank yung nagbayad. Interest income yan. Tama? Credit memo yan. So lagay mo dyan, credit memo. Sulat mo sa side, 10,000. Deposits made but not yet recorded by the bank. Ano tawag natin ng class? Deposits made but not yet recorded by the bank. DIT. Plus yan. Okay? Next item is checks written but not yet recorded by the bank. Ang tawag natin dyan, outstanding checks. Okay? The entity discovered that it had drawn and erroneously recorded a check for 46,000 that should have been recorded for 64,000. Ito yung example ng error. Okay? Remember, class, dito, ang nagkamali dyan, yung company. Kasi sabi dyan, the entity discovered. Okay? So, ang nagkamali, ito. Yung book, hindi si bank. Okay? And erroneously recorded a check for 46 that should have been recorded for 64. Ang binawas lang ng company is 46 pero dapat 64. Ano yung difference ng dalawa? 64,000 minus 46,000. Lagay mo dyan 18,000. Okay? Yan yung error. So sir, paano gagawin mo dyan? Ang question is, what is the cash balance per ledger? Iingat ka doon. Ang tinatanong sa'yo is the unadjusted balance. Ito. Per ledger daw eh. Di ba yun yun? Per ledger. O yung, ito pala. Yung sa accounting records natin. Hindi tinatanong sa'yo yung adjusted. Unadjusted yung tinatanong sa atin. Ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. For problem 2. Format lang ulit ng bank record. Book and bank. Okay? Cash balance per bank. Yung first item dyan, class. How much? 2.8 million. Nalagay ko dito, 2.8 million. Plus deposit in transit. Okay? Deposit in transit sa given, 350,000. And then minus outstanding checks. Outstanding checks sa given, 650,000. Okay, wala namang error si bank, so it means yung adjusted balance per bank is 2.8 million plus 350. 2.8 plus 350 minus 650,000, you get 2.5 million. Okay? Pag ang tanong sa'yo is adjusted balance per bank, 2.5 million sagot to. Ang tanong sa atin, unadjusted, kasi cash balance per ledger. Okay? So, actually, class, kapag may mga question about bank recon, para sa akin, mas madali yung mag-reconcile sa bank kaysa sa book. Okay? Para sa akin, mas madali ito kaysa dito. Okay? Kasi sa bank, DIT at outstanding checks lang yan. Dito kasi sa book, maraming klase ng debit memo and credit memo. Okay? So anyway, lagi mo reconcile dyan. So kahit anong gamitin mo dyan, same lang yung makukuha mo dyan. Sir, paano mo compute yung unadjusted balance per book? Ganito gagawin mo dyan, class. Balance per book. Okay? Take note, ito yung hinahanap sa atin. Plus credit memo. Okay? How much yung credit memo natin dito? 10,000. Yung interest paid by bank. Minus debit memo. Debit memo here is the bank service charges, 12,000. Ngayon, meron tayong error dyan. Okay? Now, ano yung, kanina na-compute natin, yung difference is 18,000. Kasi ni-record 46, dapat daw 64. Ngayon, paano natin malalaman kung plus or minus yung error na yan? Again, kailangan natin i-analyze. Okay? Ganito nangyari dyan, class. Ang ginawa ng company, nag-record daw ng check, nagbayad. Okay? Debit accounts payable, credit cash. Ang ginawa ng company, 46,000. Ayan yung actual na record niya. Pero dapat ito, 64,000. Ibig sabihin, class, kulang yung credit na cash. Kulang yung binawas na cash na 18,000. Kaya dito, kailangan mag-minus 18,000 ta. Gets mo ba yan? Okay. Kaya sabi ko, class, walang definite rules as to errors. Kailangan i-analyze natin to know if it's plus or minus. Now, since bank reconciliation, dapat balance lagi yan, yung adjusted balance natin dito, class, kukunin natin to. Ika-copy-paste mo yan dito. 2.5 million. Alright? Ngayon, from 2.5, paano ka babalik doon? Mag-work back tayo. 2.5 billion, since work back yan, opposite yung gagawin natin. Plus 18,000, plus 12,000, minus 10,000, you get here 2,520,000. 2520,000. Answer natin class sa problem number 2 is boy, 2520,000. Okay. So that's for problem number 2. Let's go to illustrative example number 3. Magaling natin class. Tignan mo natin yung questions. Number 3, question 1, what is the cash balance per ledger? Question, yun yung unadjusted balance. Question 2, what is the cash balance per bank statement? So, parang similar lang din siya sa problem number 2 natin. Okay? BSA company provided the following data relating to the cash transactions and bank account for the month of July. Cash balance per ledger, question mark. Cash balance per bank statement, question mark din. So, yun yung hahanapin natin class. Okay, debit memo, okay, etc. etc. Ang gagawin natin dyan para mas mabilis, ilagay mo agad yung format ng bank recon. Ganito lang gagawin ko dyan class. For number 3, lalagay ko na agad yung book and then bank. Alright? So, ang hinahanap sa atin, yung cash balance per book or per ledger, ito yung hinahanap sa atin, and then yung cash balance per bank or yung nasa bank statement. Okay. Isa-isa natin agad yung items. Debit memo for July service charge. Alam natin, pag debit memo, minus yan. So, lagay mo dyan, debit memo, minus 5,000. Next, deposit of July 31, not recorded by bank until August 1. Deposit in transit yan. Lagay natin sa bank, DIT, plus natin agad dito class yung 450,000. Next, outstanding checks, including certified check of 50,000. Okay, total is 750. Tandaan mo class, kapag sinabing certified check, na-verify na yan ni bank. Okay, as if na-record niya, di ba? Okay, as if gano'n na. That's why, pag may certified check, tatanggalin mo yan sa outstanding checks. Okay? So, alam natin class, pag outstanding checks, minus yan. So, outstanding checks, 750, may kasama doon na certified ng 50, tanggalin mo yun, 700 lang yan. Alright? Next item. Proceeds of bank loan, not recorded in ledger. Proceeds from bank loan, alam natin class, credit memo yan. So, credit memo, lagay mo dito, plus CM. How much ulit yung proceeds from bank loan? 500,000 plus 500,000. Proceeds from a note, phase 400 collected by bank, collection fee of 15,000, net is 435. Collection made by bank, credit memo din yan, lagay natin plus 435,000. Okay, a creditor check had been entered into the book as 20,000 and was erroneously deducted by bank at 200,000. So class, tama ba si bank yung nagkamali dito? Tama? So ang ginawa, dapat is 20,000 lang. Ang ginawa ni bank, dineduct niya ng 200. Nasobraan si bank na pag-deduct. For how much? 180,000. 200 minus 20. So bank error yan. Ang gagawin ko class, since alam ko na sumobra yung pag-deduct ni bank, i-alba ko lang yan. Plus 180,000. Alright? A customer check was returned by bank marked the if or drawn against insufficient funds. That's another term for NSF. Alam natin class, pag NSF, debit memo yan. So lagay natin 50,000. So lagay mo dito 50,000. Okay, correct cash balance. Pag sinabing correct cash balance, yun yung adjusted cash balance. So lagay natin adjusted. That is 3 million. Okay, given us a problem, 3 million. Okay, so mag-work back lang tayo. From adjusted, kukunin natin yung unadjusted. Okay, so 3 million. Opposite yung pag-compute natin, 3 million minus 435,000 minus 500,000 plus 50,000 plus 5,000. Answer dito class, 220,000. Letter A for question number 1. Question number 2, work back tayo from adjusted to per bank. 3 million minus 180,000 plus 700,000 minus 450,000. You get here 3,070,000. Letter B, 3,070,000. Easy. Sir, dali lang pa ng bank recon. Yes, madali lang yan. Format, basta bank recon question, gagawin mo. Lagay mo agad yung format. Okay? Automatic. Alam mo na, pag lahat ng credit memos plus sa books yan. Lahat ng debit memos minus sa books. Sa bank, lahat ng deposit in transit plus. Lahat ng outstanding checks minus. Pag errors, analyze mo yung nature para malaman mo kung plus or minus yung errors. Pag ang tinatanong is per bank or per book na unadjusted, work back lang tayo. Okay? So, that's for illustrative example number 3. Balik tayo dun sa main handouts natin, class. Dun muna tayo sa problem 5 ng main handouts natin. Okay? This is the last problem for bank recon. Problem 5, sa main handouts, nakita nyo ba class yung shown below is the bank recon for Joanna Company. Nakita nyo yan? Okay, sagutin natin yan. So, meron tayong 4 questions. Pag naka-follow kayo dito, di sabihin talagang gets na gets nyo yung bank recon. Erase ko muna to. We have 4 questions. So, tingnan natin class. Questions muna tayo. Question 1, how much is the cash balance per bank on December 31? Pag sinabing cash balance per bank, yun yung nasa bank statement. Tama? And then question 2, how much is the December receipts per book? Okay? How much daw yung receipts or basically yun yung deposits. Okay? Di-deposit ng company. Number 3, how much is the December disbursements? So, disbursements naman, yun yung mga in-issue natin na check. Okay? And then question 4, how much is the cash balance per books? O, pag cash balance per books, alam natin class, yun yung unadjusted balance. Okay? So, let's analyze the problem. Shown below is the bank recon for Joanna Company for November 2021. Balance per bank, November 30, 2021, 150,000. Yun yung nasa bank statement, balance per bank. Add deposit in transit, less outstanding checks, and bank credit recorded in error. Merong bank error. Nagkamali si bank. Okay, ito. Ang ginawa ni bank, credit niya. Sir, di ba pag credit, ibig sabihin, in-increase ni bank. Erroneously, na-increase ni bank yung bank account natin. Okay, ganun nangyari dyan. The bank statement for December 2021, take note yung first part, ang given saan is November. Okay, so second part, the bank statement for December 2021 contains the following data. Total deposits, 110,000. Total charges, including NSF check of 8,000 and service charge of 496,000. Take note, including. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yan, total charges, lahat ng minus sa atin ni bank, nandyan lahat ng in-issue natin na check, okay? Lahat ng withdrawals. Yung 96 na yan, may kasamang NSF check and service charge. Ano nga ba ulit yung NSF and service charge? Debit memos. Ima-minus natin later yan. Okay, all outstanding checks on November 30, including the bank credit, or yun yung error ni bank. Okay, yun yung error. Were cleared in the bank in December 2021. There were outstanding checks of 30,000 and deposit in transit on December 31. Take note, dalawang months yung given sa atin, November and December. Okay, question 1, how much is the cash balance? Okay, cash balance per bank on December 31, 2021. So basically, ang tanong sa atin is, how much na sa bank statement? Okay, ganun siya. Ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. Mag-TT account ako dyan. Tingnan mabuti ha. Cash balance per bank. Tama ba class nung November, yun yung beginning balance, yung first line item, 150,000. Okay, beginning balance for November, 150,000. Now, tingin ka dun sa middle portion. Ito daw yung mga nangyari noong December. Total deposits, yan daw yung nasa bank statement, tama? The bank statement for December 2021 contains the following data. Ito daw yung nasa bank statement. Lahat ng deposit na ni-record ni bank, lagyan natin dito deposit, syempre increase yun sa bank account natin, 110,000. And then, total charges, lahat ng minus ni bank, 96,000. Lagyan natin 96,000 charges. Okay, okay yung ending balance ni bank. Does that make sense? Ito yung beginning, ito lahat ng in-add sa'yo ni bank, ito lahat ng dineduct sa'yo ni bank. 150 plus 110 minus 96,000. Answer natin dito class, 164,000 for question number 1. Answer natin, letter C, 164. Gets mo ba yan? Ang tanong sa atin, how much yung balance per bank? Ito yung makikita mo sa bank statement. Okay, or yun yung unadjusted balance. Alright. Question number 2. How much is the December receipts per book? Okay, ano ibig sabihin nun, sir? December receipts per book. Ibig sabihin yung class, how much daw yung total na na-receive natin from the customers? Hindi tinatanong sa atin kung how much yung total na dineposit natin sa bank. Pag sabing receipts, how much yung total na na-receive natin from the customers. Paano gagawin mo dyan, sir? Ganito gagawin mo dyan, class. Gagamitin ko yung, pag receipts, gagamitin ko yung deposit in transit na account. Bakit, sir? Illustrate ko yan. Deposit in transit. Tama ba nung November, yung beginning balance sa deposit in transit, tingin ka dun sa taas, second line item, 24,000. Okay. Dahil ko dyan, 24,000. And then, deposit in transit, tingin ka dun sa last sentence, pinakahuli, sa December, meron kang 38,000. Okay? 38,000. Tama ba class yung total deposits na 110,000? Tama ba iyan yung na-recognize ni bank? Tama, iyan yung ni-record ni bank. Right? Dito mo siya ilalagay. 110,000. Tama, so ganito mangyari dyan. Ito yung sagot natin dyan. Solve for X. Okay, iyan yung receipts. Ibig sabihin, yung beginning deposit in transit, plus mo lahat ng na-receive natin from the customer, i-minus mo yung na-recognize ni bank or na-record niya na deposits, you get the ending balance. Okay, tanda mo, pag magkukompute ka ng receipts, deposit in transit yung gagamitin mong T-account. Okay, beginning, ending, ito lahat ng na-receive ni bank, lahat ng record ni bank, solve for X, 38,000 plus 110,000 minus 24,000, you get 124,000. Answer natin class for question number 2 is 124,000. Letter A. Question number 3. How much is the cash balance? How much is the December disbursements? Receipts to, ito naman disbursements. Lahat ng binayad natin kay supplier. Dito, DIT yung ginamit natin. Pag disbursements, outstanding checks naman. Ganito gagawin ko dyan class. Outstanding checks, how much yung beginning? Well, alam natin outstanding checks, nakabawas ng cash yan, credit ang gamitin natin, okay? Beginning outstanding checks, tingin ka dun sa taas, makikita mo dyan 28,000. 28,000, and then tingin ka dun sa last sentence, there were outstanding checks of 30,000 sa December. So, lagay mo dito, 30,000. Now, yung charges na given sa problem na 96,000, nakalagay dyan class, nandyan daw yung NSF na 8,000, nandyan yung service charge na 400, and nandyan din yung, nakalagay, all outstanding checks including bank credit. Nandyan din yung error. Tatanggalin mo lahat yun. Kasi ang tinatanong disbursements or purely, lahat ng checks na in-issue natin. Kasi yung NSF, yung service charge, and yung error, hindi naman check yun eh. Tatanggalin mo yan. So, gagawin ko dyan, plus 96,000, ima-minus ko yung NSF na 8,000, ima-minus ko yung charge na 400, bank service charge, ima-minus ko yung error, okay, credit kasi ni bank, in-increase siya ng 10,000, yun yung error. Ima-minus ko yan, dapat hindi kasama yan. Okay? Therefore, ang total lang talaga na makaka-affect sa outstanding checks natin, 96,000, minus 8,000, minus 400, minus 10,000, 77,600. Okay? Lagyan natin dito class, 77,600, parang DIT lang, magkaiba lang sila. Opposite point of view lang. Solve for X. X is 30,000 plus 77,600 minus 28,000. You get 79,600. Answer natin class. For question number 3, letter B, 79,600. Last question, number 4. Question 4. How much is the cash balance per books on December 31, 2021? Paano gagawin mo dyan, sir? As usual, per book and per bank. Okay? So, ang tinatanong sa atin is cash balance per book or yung unadjusted balance. Tama? Mag-work back ulit tayo. So, isolve natin yan. Per book and per bank. Okay, start muna tayo with kung ano yung mga given sa atin. Well, meron tayong debit memos. Okay, how much yung debit memo natin? Yun yung 8,000. So, minus agad yan. Minus debit memo, 8,000 na NSF, and then service charge na 400. So, minus yan class. What else? Ano pa meron dito? Well, meron din tayo. Wala namang credit memo sa given. Walang binigay na credit memo. So, wala yan. Deposit in transit, ending balance, add mo yan. Plus DIT, plus 38,000. And then, outstanding checks natin class, 30,000. So, outstanding checks, 30,000. Tama ba class? Ang nangyari dito, na-consider na natin si, yan, so 30,000. And then, let's see. Compute na natin yung adjusted balance. So, take note dito sa 30, natanggalan natin yung error dyan. Okay, na-consider na natin yung error dito. Okay, so, na-correct na natin yan. Let's compute for the adjusted balance. Okay, adjusted balance is per bank muna tayo. Yung per bank natin, na-compute natin doon sa question number 1, lagay mo dito 164,000. Okay, so 164,000 plus 38,000 minus 30,000. Adjusted natin class is 172. Pero ingat ka. Ang tanong pala is, question 4 pala, may question 5 pa pala. Okay, how much is the cash balance per books? Ito yung adjusted, hindi yan yung tanong sa atin. Ang tinatanong is this one. Okay, so lagay natin adjusted. 172,000. Work back tayo class to get this. Okay, 172 plus 400 plus 8,000. Answer sa question number 4 is 180,400. Okay? Question number 4, letter C yung sagot natin dyan. May question 5 pa pala. Question 5, how much is the adjusted cash in bank? Okay, disregard yung choices. Ang sagot natin is 172,000. Question number 4, letter C, 180,400. Question number 5, 172,000. Okay, so yan. That's how you solve problem number 5. Alright, so ayan siya class. Tingnan natin. Ingat ka dito class ha, yung error, baka nalito ka na sa error. Sir, bakit parang hindi mo consider yung error na 10,000? Yung 10,000 error na yung class, nangyari yan noong November. Okay, noong November yan. And then, wala na yan dito sa 30,000 kasi yung nag-clear na daw siya during the month. Okay? Wala na siya dito. Kung yung 10,000 nandito pa yan sa 30,000, doon ka mag-adjust. Pero take note, yung error nangyari yan last month pa. Hindi mo yan i-adjust this month. Okay, parang ganun siya. Alright, so that's how you solve for problem number 5. Problem number 6, skip nyo yan. Okay? Kasi proof of cash yan. Saan yung proof of cash? Proof of cash, actually, nasa auditing practice na yan. Wala na yan sa FAR. And hindi yan usually tinatanong sa board exam. Proof of cash, basically, yan yung expanded bank recon. Okay? So, meron siyang 4 na columns. Just to give you an illustration sa proof of cash, meron siyang, let's say, November, meron kang receipts, meron kang disbursements, and meron kang December. Okay? Ang tawag natin sa proof of cash is expanded bank reconciliation. Okay? Meron siyang 4 na columns. Alright? FYI na lang, no? I-discuss natin yan sa audit of cash under auditing practice. I-skip mo muna yung problem 6 para hindi ka malito. Again, proof of cash, nilipat na yan sa auditing practice. Problem number 6, disregard mo yan. Okay? Sige. Punta naman tayo sa theory questions. Okay, so theory questions, mag-jump tayo class dun sa theory number, tingnan natin ha. Asa ba yung bank recon dito? Theory number, okay. 18, 1-8. Okay, theory number 18 for bank recon. Okay, 18, a bank recon is prepared monthly in order for the enterprise to, well, alam natin, letter A yung sagot dyan, arrive at the correct cash balance. Okay, letter A for number 18. Yung correct cash balance, yan din yung ipipresent natin na cash in bank in our balance sheet. 19, bank reconciliation. Okay, punta ka sa letter D or dog, explains the difference between the bank balance and the balance shown in the depositor's records. So again, cash balance per books and cash balance per bank. Okay, letter dog for number 19. Number 20, a bank statement provides information about all of the following except. Ano ba yung bank statement? Nandun yung galing sa banko yan. Lahat ng yung summary ng transactions natin for the month, nandun yung sa bank statement. A, bank charges, yes, nandun yan. B, checks cleared, yes. C, errors made by the company, wala dun yan. Errors made by the company, nasa records ng company natin yan. NSFTX, yes. Letter C for number 20. 21, when preparing a bank recon, bank credits are. Ano example ng bank credits? Credit memo. Okay, credit ni bank, in-increase ni bank. Pag credit memo, alam natin class, ina-add natin yan. Kaya letter C for number 21, added to the balance per book. Number 22, for the purposes of bank recon, debit memos. Pag debit memo, may na-minus natin yan. Letter dog, deducted from the book balance. Okay, 22 is letter D. 23, which of the following items must be added to the cash balance per ledger or per books in preparing bank recon? Ano daw yung i-add natin? Letter A, note receivable collected by bank in favor of the depositor and credited to the account of the depositor. I-add natin yan. A na yung sagot because A is a credit memorandum or CM. Yung BCND, NSF, service charge, erroneous bank credit. Well, yung NSF and service charge, alam natin debit memo yan, so minus yan. Pag naman, erroneous bank credit, in-increase ka ni bank, dapat hindi, ma-minus mo rin yan. So yung A plus yan, B to D minus yan. Okay, letter A for number 23. Number 24, in the process of preparing a bank recon, A, outstanding check should be added, mali, deducted dapat yan. B, outstanding check should be subtracted, okay sana, kaya lang nakalagay from the book balance, hindi, from the bank balance. Alright? Letter C, all of the reconciling items shown on a bank recon must be entered in the accounting records after the reconciliation is completed. Mali yan. Ang i-adjust lang natin, ang journal entries lang natin, adjusting entries, lahat na ng book reconciling items. So mali yung letter C. Dog yung tama dyan. Items that appear on the reconciliation as corrections to the book balance of cash should be entered in the accounting records. So lahat ng adjustments natin sa books, dun ka na nag-adjusting entry. Dog for number 24. 25, the reconciling item in the bank recon that will result in an adjusting entry. Alin daw dito yung, well, basically, lahat lang ng book reconciling items. Outstanding checks, hindi. Bank yan. DIT, hindi rin yan. Bank error, hindi rin yan. Sige, bank yan. Letter D yung sagot, bank service charge. Kasi bank service charge is a debit memo, therefore, kailangan natin adjusting entry dyan. Alin ulit yung kailangan na adjusting entries? Lahat ng book reconciling items. Credit memo, debit memo, and errors committed by the book or by the company. Letter D for number 25. Number 26, what is the adjusting entry for NSF? Well, alam natin, pag NSF, debit AR, credit cash. Letter boy yan. Debit accounts receivable, credit cash. Okay, boy for number 26. 27. If the cash balance shown in a company's accounting records or yung per book is more than the correct cash balance and neither the company nor the bank has made any errors, there must be, so parang ganito class, number 27, yung book, per book daw, okay, yung per book, and then ito yung adjusted, alright, adjusted. Now, mas mataas daw si per book kaysa sa adjusted, okay? So paano ka mas mataas yan, dapat maging adjusted. So, ibig sabihin, mag-minus tayo. No? Alin daw yung minus na adjustment? Tingnan natin class yung mga choices. A, deposits credited by bank, not yet recorded by the company, no? Deposit in transit, outstanding checks, hindi. Kasi book yung tanong sa atin, eh. Tama? Dapat, book reconciling items. How about yung D, bank charges, not yet recorded by the company. Debit memo yan. Pag debit memo, minus yan. Okay? Dog yung sagot natin sa number 27. Number 28, in reconciling the bank balance with the book balance, which of the following would not cause the bank balance shown in the bank statement to be lower? Okay, so bank naman, yung analyze natin. Tingnan natin class, ha? So, gagawin ko dyan, bank naman. Okay, ito yung per bank o yung unadjusted, and then ito yung adjusted. So sabi dyan, alin daw yung, which of the following would not cause the bank balance to be lower than the unadjusted book balance, o book pala versus bank to. No? So ang gagawin ko dyan, tingnan natin. Analyze natin class ha. So kailangan, ang gagawin natin, di pala, ganito ko siya i-analyze. Okay, so medyo tricky actually yung 28. No? So ganito ko siya i-analyze. Ito yung book, ito yung bank. Ang tinatanong sa ating class, kailan daw magiging higher yung bank? Ayan, tama? Kailan daw siya magiging higher? Letter A, deposit in transit. Hindi, lower yun. Kasi pag deposit in transit, hindi pa nare-record ni bank yan. Tama? Cash on hand of the company, no. interest credited to the bank, CM yan. Pag CM, mas mataas si bank. Tama kasi CM, may adjustment ka sa books doon. C na yung sagot dyan. Okay, CM. NSF checks DM, hindi yan yung sagot. Ulitin ko, bakit sir C yung sagot? Basahin ulit natin. In reconciling the bank balance with the book balance, which of the following would not cause the bank balance to be lower? Kapag credit memo, mas mataas si bank kaysa kay book. Kasi pag credit memo, nag-add na si bank, pero hindi pa nare-record ni book. Okay, kaya letter C for number 28. Number 29, if the cash balance in the company's bank statement is less than the correct balance, and then no errors, there must be, so per bank, okay, bahin natin, per bank, okay, anong nangyari dyan? Is less than, tama? Than the correct cash balance. Mas mababa naman. Okay? Opposite naman nung kanina. Mas mababa naman daw yan. So, ibig sabihin, class, ano yung adjustment na plus? Okay? Kasi kailangan itaas natin yan to get the adjusted balance. Okay? So, bank yung pinag-uusapan natin. A, deposits credited by bank not yet recorded by the company. Outstanding checks, hindi. Pag outstanding checks, minus yan. Bank charges, hindi. Kasi bank charges, si company, si book, yung nagre-record yan. Deposit in transit yung sagot dyan. Okay? Kasi pag deposit in transit, plus yan. Okay? Letter D for number 29. Dog for number 29. Number 30. If the cash balance in the bank statement is more than the correct cash balance, and walang errors, there must be, pag mas mataas naman daw to compared to this one. Well, opposite naman yan. Kung mas mataas yan, kailangan mag-minus tayo. Tama? Ano ba yung may minus natin? Outstanding checks. Letter boy for number 30. Okay, number 30. 31, a proof of cash. So again, sa auditing practice yan, but punta ka dun sa letter C. Is a 4-column bank recon showing reconciliation of cash per ledger, book and per bank. Okay? And reconciliation of receipts. Okay, nasimulat ko dito. And disbursements during the current month. Proof of cash, letter C. Okay, so that's letter C for number 31. Class, the last topic under cash and cash equivalents is accounting for petty cash fund or PCF. Sir, what is petty cash fund? Petty cash fund or PCF is fund set aside for small and minor expenses. Okay? For example, class, bibili tayo ng office supplies. For practicality purposes, instead na mag-issue pa tayo ng check whenever bibili tayo ng supplies, petty cash fund na lang yung gamitin natin. Okay? Now, the petty cash fund is under the custody of the petty cash custodian, or also called the petty cash cashier. So yung petty cash custodian or cashier, siya yung responsible for the petty cash fund. Okay? Now, ang technique for accounting for petty cash fund is knowing the journal entries. Pag alam natin yung journal entries, madali na yung petty cash fund na yan. Okay? Now, let's say on December 1, nag-establish tayo ng petty cash fund, 8,000 pesos. Entry natin dyan, class, is debit PCF, credit cash in bank, 8,000. Alright? Debit petty cash fund, credit cash in bank. Sir, bakit credit cash in bank? Kasi class, check yung in-issue natin dyan. Nagbigay tayo ng check kay petty cash custodian, in-encash niya yung check, ginawa niyang petty cash fund. Kaya yan yung entry natin. Okay? Now, from December 1 to December 15, may mga disbursements tayo. Bumili tayo ng office supplies, nagpa-deliver tayo ng food, okay, grab delivery, nag-reimburse tayo sa messenger natin, yung mga ganyan. Yung mga small disbursements natin. Tandaan mo class, pag disbursements, walang entries yan. No journal entries. Lahat ng transactions, i-record lang ni petty cash custodian sa petty cash register. Okay? Yung petty cash register, isipin mo class, para siyang logbook. Hindi yan journal entries, logbook lang yan. Okay? Listahan lang yan ng mga items sa mga transactions. And take note, lahat ng disbursements na yan, lahat ng transactions should be supported by the signed, okay, petty cash vouchers. Okay? Signed petty cash vouchers. So basically, pag sinabi mong voucher, piece of paper lang yan, okay? Evidencing na may transaction na nangyari. Sir, bakit signed? Sino yung magsasign yan? Well, for example, na bumili tayo ng office supplies, okay? Yung bumili sa secretary, isa-sign ng secretary yan. For example naman, nagpa-deliver tayo ng Grab food, okay? Isa-sign ng Grab delivery yan, okay? Or for example naman, class, nag-reimburse tayo ng transpo ng messenger, isa-sign ng messenger yung voucher, okay? Signed vouchers. Take note, ang mahalaga dyan, pag disbursements, wala kang journal entries. Let's say, class, lahat ng disbursements na yan nag-amount sa 7,000 pesos. As of December 15, 1,000 na lang yung petty cash natin. 8,000 minus 7,000, 1,000 na lang. Mababa na. Yung balance is low. Kailangan natin i-replenish yan. Okay? So, upon replenishment, dyan ka magre-recognize ng expenses. Pag nag-replenish ka, mag-i-issue ka ulit ng check. Okay? Kaya ang entry natin upon replenishment, debit expenses, credit, cash in bank. Okay? 7,000. So, expenses, yan yung kanina, yung mga nagastos natin. Cash in bank kasi nga, cheque yung i-issue natin dyan. Alright? Now, let's say, nung December 17, nag-decide tayo, increase nga natin yung petty cash fund natin from 8,000 gawin natin 10,000. So, increase ng 2,000. Entry natin dyan, class, upon increase, debit petty cash fund, credit cash in bank, 2,000. Okay? Kasi from 8, gagawin natin 10,000. Alright? Debit petty cash fund, credit cash in bank ulit, issue ulit tayo ng cheque. Now, on December 31, so meron tayong disbursements from December 17 up to December 31. Again, pag disbursements, walang journal entries yan. I-record mo lang sa petty cash register natin. Kaya lang, class, sa December 31, kapag wala kang entry sa expenses, mag-understate yung expenses mo. So, kailangan may adjustment tayo every end of the period. Okay? What is our adjustment? Entry is debit, expenses, credit, petty cash fund. For example, class, 3,000 pesos yan, yung expenses natin. Ayan yung journal entries natin. Okay? Now, take note. Pag nag-T-account tayo, class, for the petty cash fund, tingnan natin kung alin yung maka-affect dyan. Encircle natin. Una, pag nag-establish ka. Okay? Pag nag-establish, 8,000. Lagay ko dito, establishment. Take note, class, pag disbursement, since wala kang entry, walang effect yan sa petty cash fund balance mo. Okay? Pag replenishment, meron ka bang effect sa petty cash fund? Wala, kasi ang credit mo dyan is cash in bank. Pag nag-increase ka ng petty cash fund or pag nag-decrease ka, plus 2,000. So, lagyan natin dito, increase, 2,000. Pag decrease, syempre, credit naman yan. Pag adjustment, every end of the period, meron ka din dyan. Okay, credit ka dyan, 3,000. Alright? So 8,000 plus 2,000, that's 10,000. Minus 3,000, you have 7,000. This is your ending balance of your petty cash fund. Okay? That's 7,000. Take note na yung 7,000 na yung class, iyan din yung coins and currencies mo. Iyan din yung pera. Okay? Yan yung coins and bills mo, okay? Amounting to 7,000. Tanda mo, pag ang tanong is how much yung ending balance of the petty cash fund, yun yung coins and currencies na nakuha mo from your cash count. Kasi magbibilang ka every end of the month. How much ba yung pera ko dito? Oh, may mga coins, 5 pesos, 10 pesos, blah, blah, blah. May 100, may 1,000, may 500. Pag in-add mo lahat yun, na-count mo siya, yun yung ending balance of your petty cash. Okay? For example, class, ang naging count natin is 7,000. Okay? Nag-count tayo ng coins and currencies. Gawa tayo ng 3 scenarios. 7,000, yung count natin. What if naman, class, 6,000 yung count? And what if 8,000 yung count? Okay? Pag 7,000, walang problema. Kasi 7,000 yan. Ending balance. Walang problema. Pag 6,000 lang yung nabilang natin, ibig sabihin, meron tayong shortage. Tama? Pag naman 8,000, yung nabilang natin, sobra. Ang tawag natin dyan, overage. Okay? Dito, wala kang entry. Hindi kailangan ng entry dyan kasi properly stated naman yan. Pag may shortage, ano sir yung entry mo dyan? Pag shortage, ang entry natin class, debit, cash, short, or over. Ito yung account title na ginagamit. Debit, cash, short, or over. Credit, petty cash fund. Siyempre, babawasan mo yan. Ang mangyayari class, instead na 7,000 yan, based dun sa account natin, 6,000 na lang yan. Okay? Meron kang credit na 1,000 dito, which is this one. Pag may shortage, debit, cash, short, or over, credit, petty cash fund. How much? Difference na. 7,000 minus yung count natin, so 1,000 yan. 1,000. Alright? Pag naman overage, opposite naman. Mas marami yung nabilang natin. So basically, isipin mo parang 8,000 naman yan. Alright? From 7,000, may 8,000 siya. Entry mo dyan class, debit, petty cash fund, credit, cash, short, or over. Okay? 1,000. Ulitin ko. Pag shortage, ito yung entry mo. Obviously, credit yung petty cash fund kasi babawasan mo siya. Okay? Pag overage naman, ito naman yung entry mo. Alright? But, ulitin ko. Ang ending balance of your petty cash fund is always based on cash count. Kung magkano, yun na bilang mo na coins and currencies. Let's go to illustrative example number 4. Number 4. Okay, mastery company established a petty cash fund for 6,000. And the petty cash fund included the following details. Coins and currencies. So, nagbilang siya. Ito yung natira sa kanya, 2,000. Paid vouchers, transpo, gasoline, office supplies, postage stamps, due from employees. Class, yun yung mga disbursements. May entry ba tayo sa disbursements? Wala. Okay, walang entry dyan. Employees check returned by bank marked NSF. So, ba't may NSF dyan? Di ba pag NSF, cash in bank yan? Tama? Panglito lang yan. Pang-trick lang yan. I-disregard mo yan. Wala siyang effect sa petty cash fund. Check drawn to the order of the petty cash custodian. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pag nag-drawn tayo, sa petty cash custodian, replenishment yan. Ito siya. Okay? Question, what amount of petty cash should be reported? Okay, ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. Papakita ko sa inyo yung common sense na sagot and yung meron journal entry. No? Common sense na sagot, what amount of petty cash should be reported? Ano sabi ko, class? How much yung i-report mo? Cash count mo. How much yung cash count? Coins and currencies, 2,000. And then, nag-replenish. Di ba, class, yung replenishment, pera din yan eh. Cash din yan, tama? How much yan? Yung replenishment, nasa last item, 4,000. 2,000 plus 4,000, answer natin dyan, class, is 6,000, letter C. Letter C na yung sagot mo. Okay? Ngayon, para mas ma-visualize mo, apply natin yung journal entries. First entry. Upon establishment of the petty cash fund, sabi sa first sentence, 6,000 daw, tama? Debit petty cash fund, credit cash in bank, 6,000. Alright? Meron ka bang entry sa mga vouchers na yan? Wala. Pag disbursements, wala kang journal entries. Kailan ka mag-journal entry? Dun sa replenishment. Last item, check drawn to the order of petty cash custodian, 4,000. Dun ka lang may entry. Ano yung entry natin, class? Upon replenishment. Debit expenses, credit cash in bank. Okay? Expenses natin dyan, ang total yan is 4,000. Okay? Debit expenses, credit cash in bank, 4,000. So, class, tingnan mo to. Based dun sa journal entry natin, how much yung petty cash fund natin? Well, may PCF ka dyan na 6,000. Sa second entry, wala namang PCF, tama? So, 6,000 yung balance natin dyan. 6,000, yun din yung 6,000, which is equal dun sa coins and currencies. Yan yung actual na nabilang natin. And replenishment, isama mo yan. Kasi yung replenishment, yan yung cash o yung check na in-issue kay petty cash custodian. 6,000 yung sagot mo. Okay? Ito yung common sense na sagot. Pag nag-journalize ka, ito rin siya. Okay? Kaya mahalaga, class, yung entries. Kasi tingnan mo, pag sa replenishment, take note, hindi petty cash fund yung kinikredit natin, cash in bank. Whenever nagre-replenish ka, walang effect yun sa petty cash fund natin. Kailan lang may effect sa petty cash fund? Establishment, increase or decrease, and adjustment every December 31 or every end of the period. Okay? So that's for number 4. Let's go to, balik tayo sa main handouts natin. Isang question lang di natin nasusolve dito. Let's go to problem number 4. Meron siyang 3 or 4 questions. So problem number 4, medyo comprehensive ng konti yung problem number 4, so maganda siyang problem. Question 1, how much is the adjusted cash on hand? Question 2, how much is the adjusted petty cash fund? Question 3, how much is the adjusted cash in bank? And how much the correct cash balance? So pinagsama-sama na, class. Cash on hand, cash in bank, petty cash, etc. So tingnan natin paano natin isosolve yan. Okay, the current assets of Rosa & Company on December 31 include the following. Cash on hand, 50, petty cash, etc. Okay, so tingnan natin. Letter A, cash on hand includes, okay, so basically yung question 1 class is cash on hand, tama? Lagay ko dito, problem number 4. Question 1 is about cash on hand. Yan. Cash on hand na given sa atin sa first part of the problem is 50,000. Obviously, yan yung unadjusted balance. Unadjusted, 50,000. O, tingnan natin yung notes. Cash on hand includes, bullet number 1, customer's check of 4,000 returned by bank on December 26 due to insufficient funds but subsequently redeposited and cleared by bank on January 5. Pag NSF, tinatanggal natin yan. Kasi if you remember yung entry, debit AR, credit cash. Pag NSF, tanggalin mo yan. Okay? Minus tayo dito. For NSF, minus how much? 4,000. Bullet number 2, customer's check for 6,000 dated January 15, received December 22. Ang tawag natin yan, dated in the future, post-dated check. Sabi include, so tanggalin natin yan. Post-dated check, minus 6,000. Alright? Bullet number 3, postal money orders received from customers. Naalala niyo yung example natin sa Western Union, kasama sa cash on hand yan. So tama yan, huwag mong tatanggalin yan. Bullet number 4, cash withheld from wages for income tax of employees. Take note class, kapag nag-withhold ka, okay, for current operations, for example, change fund o yung pansukli sa customers, travel fund para sa mga transpo, eto tax fund, income tax fund, mga current operations yan eh. Pwede mo i-classify yun as cash on hand. Take note of that. Ang hindi mo lang i-classify as cash on hand or cash in bank, yung restricted for acquisition of PPE or restricted for payment of loans. Pero yung mga current na yan, operations, pwedeng isama yan sa cash on hand. Okay? Kaya walang adjustment dyan. Tama lang yung ginawa niya na included yan. So let's compute, 50,000 minus 4 minus 6, this is 40,000. Answer natin class for question number 1 is letter A, 40,000. Question number 2, ang tanong sa ating class is petty cash fund. Okay, so petty cash fund. Unadjusted balance ng petty cash fund natin class is 10,000 yung nasa given. No? Tingnan natin, letter B. The petty cash fund consists of the following items. Coins and currencies, kasama ba sa petty cash fund yan? Yes, parang yung sagot natin kanina. Okay, coins and currencies, how much? 2,800. Employees vales. Sir, ano yung vales? Vale, sa Tagalog vale, or cash advance. Okay? Hindi yan, expenses yan, or receivable from employee yan. Nandun yan sa disbursements. Okay? Hindi yan kasama. Currency in envelope marked collections for birthday party, wala yan. Unreplenished petty cash vouchers, hindi yan, mga expenses yan. Check drawn payable to cashier, replenishment. Kasama yung replenishment. Lagyan natin, replenishment. How much? That is 2,200. 2,800 plus 2,200, you get 5,000. Okay? So sagot natin class for question number 2, letter C, 5,000 again. Pag ang tanong, petty cash fund, coins and currencies, business account natin, and replenishment. Question number 3, how much naman daw yung cash in bank? Alright, so cash in bank, from the given, no, sa first part of the problem, 200,000 yung unadjusted dyan. Okay? Unadjusted, 200,000. So tingnan natin. Letter C, included among the checks in payment of accounts payable drawn by the company against its current account and recorded on December 21, ni-record daw, okay? Bullet number 1, check written and dated December 22 and delivered to payee on January 5. Undelivered checks yan. And ang ginawa mo on December 21, nag-entry ka na debit accounts payable, credit cash. I-reverse natin yun. Alam natin, pag undelivered check, cash pa rin natin, add back natin. So undelivered check, add back natin class yung 10,000. Next bullet, checks written and dated January 21, delivered to payee, 15,000. Okay, so ganun din. Post-dated check naman to, pero tayo yung issuer. Okay? So gagawin natin dyan class, sa post-dated check na yan, i-add back natin kasi sa atin pa rin yan. Okay? As of December 31. Cash in bank natin 200 plus 10 plus 15, 225,000. Letter D for 200 for question number 3. And then question number 4 class, add lang natin lahat yan. Yung total or adjusted cash natin, add lang natin 40,000 for cash on hand. Petty cash fund natin is 5,000. Yung petty cash fund, pwede mo siya isama sa cash on hand or pwede mo siya i-present separately. Okay lang yan. 40,000 plus 5,000 plus 225. Answer natin sa question 4, letter A, 270,000. Okay? So ayan, that's problem 4, cash and cash equivalents. Tapusin natin class by answering the theory questions. I think yung hindi pa natin na-answer is theory number 11. Okay, theory number 11, which of the following is not a basic characteristic of a system of cash control? A, use of a voucher system. Okay, paggamit ng mga vouchers. Signed property dapat yan. Okay, it's a good internal control. So, tama yan. B, combined responsibility for handling and recording cash. Actually, yan yung mali dyan, no? Handling and recording, theoretically, dapat magkahiwala yan. Aralin natin yan sa auditing theory na yung recording and custody should be segregated. So, boy na yan. Dapat separated sila. Boy yung sagot natin sa number 11. C, daily deposit of all cash received. That's an ideal practice yan. Internal audits at irregular intervals. Ibig sabihin, surprise audit. Okay din yan. Boy yung sagot natin. Dapat separated yung responsibility for handling and recording. Number 12. So, sa atin, si petty cash custodian, siya bahala sa custody. Si accounting department, siya yung bahala sa recording. Number 12, all cash receipts are deposited intact and all cash disbursements are made by means of check. This internal control, FYI, ang tawag natin dyan, impressed system. Ibig sabihin yan, lahat daw ng kukolect natin from customer, laging deposited dapat. Okay, on time, deposited on time. Lahat ng pagbabayad natin through checks para properly monitored, okay, or properly recorded. Okay, impressed system yung tawag natin dyan, boy. Number 13, entries to record the replenishment of petty cash fund, resulting in debit to various expense. This accounting procedure exemplifies the impressed petty cash system, FYI, ang tawag natin dyan. Ito, yung mga entries na yan, impressed petty cash system, letter A. Ano ulit class yung entry natin for replenishment, debit expenses, credit cash in bank. Number 14, what is the major purpose of petty cash fund? A, to effectively plan cash inflows and outflows. B, to ease the payment. Pwede. Kaya lang ang problema sa B, to ease the payment of cash to vendors. Pag vendors, suppliers yan. Pag suppliers, cash ang check ang ibabayad mo dyan. Okay? Kailan ka magpe-petty cash fund? Kapag small and minor expenses. Yun yung pamali sa boy. Letter C, to determine the honesty, no. Letter dog yung best answer to effectively control cash disbursements. Okay? And for practicality purposes din yan. Dog for number 14. Number 15, a cash over or short. Ito siya. Or cash short or over. Punta sa letter C. Is debited whenever the petty cash fund proves out short. Pag may shortage, debit natin yan. Pag naman may overage, kine-credit natin. That's why letter C yung sagot mo dyan. Is debited when the PCF proves out short. Number 16, which is true when a petty cash fund is used? A, the petty cash fund balance should be reported as investment. Mali. Pwede mo siya i-report as cash on hand. Okay? B, the reimbursement or yung replenishment of the petty cash fund should be debited to expenses and credited to cash. Tama yun. Debit expenses, credit cash in bank. Boy na yung sagot natin dyan. Tingnan natin kung bakit mali yung ibang choices. Letter C, the petty cash shears summary of petty cash payments serves as a journal entry. Mali. Wala tayong journal entries. Okay? Letter D, entries that include a credit to the cash count should be recorded at the same time payments from the petty cash fund are made. No, mag-e-entry lang tayo kapag replenishment or kapag mag-a-adjust tayo end of the period. Bakit ka nag-a-adjust pag end of the period? Para hindi ma-understate yung expenses natin. Last one, number 17. The following statements relate to the petty cash fund. So boy na yung 16 ha. The following statements relate to the petty cash fund. Which statements is true? A, the amount of coins and currencies in the petty cash fund is the same before the fund is reimbursed as it is afterwards. Hindi. Depende yan sa count natin. Tama? Sometimes may shortage, sometimes may overage. Letter B, entries to record the replenishment of the impressed petty cash fund result in a debit to expenses and a credit to petty cash fund. Mali. Hindi naman petty cash fund yung kinikredit natin, cash in bank. Mali yan. Letter C, at any time, the sum of the petty cash fund and the total petty cash vouchers should equal the amount for which the impressed cash fund was established. Actually, tama yung class. Letter C, ano ibig sabihin yan, sir? As you can see here dito class, sa example natin earlier, yung 8,000 na in-establish natin, ang sabi niya sa letter C, ang composition daw niyan, tama ba yung disbursements natin, 7,000, tama? Disbursement, 7,000, o yun yung mga expenses natin, 1,000 yung natitira sa coins and currencies natin. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng letter C. Basahin natin ulit. At any time, the sum of cash in the petty cash fund, yung 1,000, yun yung natitira sa atin, and the total petty cash vouchers, yung mga disbursements, equal the amount for which the petty cash fund was established. How much yung established natin? 8,000. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin ng letter C. C na tayo for number 17. Letter D, under the impressed petty cash system, it is not necessary to adjust and replenish petty cash expenses at the end of the year. Necessary yan ito. Pag hindi mo in-adjust yung petty cash fund mo, ma-understate yung expenses mo. So dapat properly stated yung expenses natin. Kaya every end of the period, meron tayong adjustment. For number 17, letter C. So I think nasagutan natin lahat ng questions under cash and cash equivalents. That concludes our discussion.